My name is Matthew Enbar. I'm a senior technical customer success manager at Cloudinary, and I put together this presentation to show how a fashion marketplace was able to save over $100,000 by automating UGC cleanups and sales overlays. This relies on one of our newer features, which is conditional transformations. Let's get started. Just some tips and guidelines before we get into the full session. Please be engaged, take notes. This is going to be a bit more of an interactive demo, so we're going to be displaying things live in console, so it's not just going to be me talking. We're also going to see it in action with a little program that we built. If there are any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A section within the webinar, and we will have addition at the very end. All right, so a little story time. So this is a story about Fashion Marketplace. Essentially, they were allowing users to upload images. It's all user-generated content. Really facilitate brand consistency. They did things like overlays or removing the background from images, cleaning up images. And this was a repetitive task. Users would upload their images, then the team would have to manually remove the backgrounds or add overlays, and wanted to come up with a solution of how we could automate this in order to save time for the teams. All right, so now it's time for the demo. I want to walk you through a little bit of what we're going to be seeing here. You're going to see some code for the dependencies that we load. You'll see that there is an upload button. We have a remove background. This will be building out later. And then the gallery widget, which is going to display it, as well as some JavaScript functionality to upload these. I want to call out the API key and secret are private. They are just for demo purposes. We will provide you a link to this JS fiddle where you can plug in your own. So the reminder, this is for demo purposes only. You should not implement anything with an API secret on the front end and expose that secret. Next, with the upload, it is going to need to be a signed signature upload in order to facilitate the addition of structured metadata, which is what we're going to be setting up later. You will need to upload them with the signed upload. You can use our generate signature function, which is in our documentation, and then the signature generator and the Cloudinary upload widget, which is what allows us to upload. So that's just a little bit of background of what we're going to be looking at. So first, we wanted to just demo. So here you have something very simple built out. As you can see, it's just a checkbox to remove background. I've uploaded 3 images here. So these will be called our original assets. As you can see, nothing really happens to them. They're just being shown, no background removals. So the way this works is we're going to first demo just showing you as a user, I can select to remove a background. Now upload an image. We can do flower dress. I'm going to show you in the console. As you can see, we have another flower dress in the console that was uploaded, and it's this one. And you see this structured metadata is set to true based off of me selecting that option when I uploaded as a user. I did upload all of these into a specific folder, as well as adding a specific tag just for ease, so it will automatically load into this widget. So I'm going to rerun this. And now we could see that photo that I uploaded was automatically added, and it was the same exact photo. So we have the original and then the derived one where the background was automatically removed. So I, as an admin, didn't have to actually do anything because that structured metadata was in there. The user selected to remove the background. It was uploaded and then removed the background. What I want to go through next is showing you building out and setting up this structured metadata as well as the conditional transformation and how you can do this. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a structured metadata. So you can find this under your assets tab under structured metadata. So you can see here we have that original remove background. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to make it a single select option. It could be any kind of option. And I'm going to call this one on sale. Great. Now that I created it, I'm also going to add some values. So I'm just going to do very simple true and false. So we're adding one for true, and we're going to add one for false. And just like that, my structured metadata is set up. Now you can also make this mandatory. If you do want to make it mandatory, you would need to have a default field. So I'm just going to put default field of false. That way, if anything gets uploaded without one, it's automatically set to false unless specified. So now if we go back to our assets, we can see that there's this new structured metadata field called on sale. We have that remove background from before, and then we have on sale. We have true or false there. The next step is going to be to create the transformation. I'm going to manage transformations. I already have my conditional demo one where it does the remove background, but I want to create a new one just for the image overlay, for the on sale overlay. So now I'm going to go and create my overlay. I'm going to select image overlay and put it in the northeast corner. Give it a little offset so it's not just straight in the corner. Do something like 2020. Do that. I'm going to remove the background from that image as well. Okay, so that background is removed. It is a little bit big, so I'm also going to scale it down. And let's say about 50 pixels. Actually, better yet, we can do this as a percentage. So we can do, let's say, 20%. Maybe we want that even a little bit bigger. You can decide how big or small you want. All right, so now we don't want it too big. We don't want it to take up too much space, but now we have this overlay. So we'll save this as sales overlay. I like to separate them out, the conditional and the ones that I'm going to be using, just because it's easier to change in the future. So now that we have our sale overlay, which just overlays that sale, I can go into my conditional demo. And this is how we're going to really build out that condition. Generally, we'll do it through an additional transformation. The reason why I like to separate it out is it makes it easier to call the conditional, the new one, instead of writing out the full format. So now I can just call that one. So I'm going to add another same format as here. So I'm going to do if MD stands for metadata. And here I'm going to put it in the name. Ours was called on sale for the metadata. We're going to wrap that in exclamation marks. And then we're going to send it if it's equal to true, then we want to DC sales overlay. And the T is because we're using a name transformation. This is the name transformation that we built out. And then we're just going to end our if statement. We're going to add some assets here now just to see that this is working. But since none of these assets have that sales overlay, you can see that nothing was applied there yet. So I'm going to overwrite this and save. And there we just set up our conditional demo. I'm going to go back into my assets. We could take this image that we had before. We'll set on sale to true. Add those images back in so we can see. And you can see that image that we had the background removal set to true and the sale overlay set to true, that it both removed the background and that sales overlay on the one where it had both of them set as false, no background was removed and no overlay. So basically reading based off of that structured metadata field that we created, depending on their values, we applied that conditional transformation. Now, this doesn't have to be as simple as this. You can do things like adding borders, adding text overlays, depending on user input. This is just a simple example of how you could do a conditional statement, letting your users decide what they want to do. So now that we have all of that set up, we're going to go back into our Cloudinary little JS fiddle. I'm going to comment back in some code that I left out before. So first in the HTML, I'm going to add a label here, an option to mark something as on sale. All right, then I'm just going to make sure we grab that. That in. Now, if I rerun this, we can see we have the remove background marked as on sale. Now, if I click something to mark it on sale, I could do it even without removing the background. I'll do an example like that. Pick this nice red dress. Again, just to review how it looks in our folder. We see we have another upload. This is the new one. You can see that on sale was marked as true. It'll just take a little bit of time for the widget to update. We'll give that a minute or two. While we do that, we can also upload another one where we'll remove both the background and mark it as on sale. And we'll do that again for the red dress so you can see the transformations with each one of those selected. So we uploaded another one. Let's confirm. Now we will see those 3 red dresses. Hopefully that gave it enough time for at least one of them. Both of them loaded in. Perfect. So we can see here, this one was the one that we uploaded with the background removal, as well as the sale with no background removal and the sale overlay. And here we have it with the background removed as well as the sale overlay. that is our demo for today. Thank you all for joining. Really appreciate your time.